Cool. Well, man, speaking of loving what you do, it's very clear you love what you do. I'm looking forward to getting into it. So thank you for taking a minute out.
Sure, of course. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to begin our conversation with COVID. 4 years ago, we didn't know where this was going to go, how it was going to transpire. How did you survive the COVID time, and how did it change the way that you live your life now?
Okay. Okay. So are we recording now?
Yeah, that's kind of my intro piece there. So yeah, that's kind of the intro before we get into it.
Okay. I'm from New York City, and while COVID happened, I was in New York City. We had a beautiful place on the water, facing the ocean. Uh, Obviously, it hurt my business. I had another business also. I had a drilling business and concrete cutting business. So obviously, I closed that business down, and I stayed with the business that I have now with my wife. We have a we have a health and healing podcast. My wife is the host. She interviews a lot of doctors and authors. Um, just to get the message out there. You know, we're part of a program here, and I want to get the message out to people that being healthy, help, it, that's the future. You got to be healthy. If you don't want to be sick, I never got COVID. My wife never got COVID. We never got vaccinated. We don't believe in the shot, so we're against that. But we're healthy.
Yeah.
And by being healthy, we knock on wood that we don't get sick. And getting through COVID, we uh, we moved. Living on the ocean was beautiful, but then my wife said she wanted to get out of New York. It was living on the ocean was in Long Island, by the way. It was on Long Beach, and she said she wanted to move to Florida. And I said, okay, great. So we came down here, Clearwater Beach. If you ever heard of it, it's
Yeah.
beautiful place, one of the nicest beaches in the country. And that's where we are today. We're down here, and we're part of a movement. Movement is stay healthy. I'm 65 years old.
Wow.
I'm in great shape. I've been in fitness all my life. I wrote 3 books. I'm an author. Um, I still dabble with a partner of mine in New York in the construction business. Um, I'm the owner's rep of that business. So, and I'm doing this. This is what I do. I coach. I coach people to be healthy.
So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A baseball player.
Okay. Who was the
I
player?
What was that?
Who was your favorite player?
Probably back then was Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
I like Bobby Mercer. He was another good player. But I did play baseball. I was scouted by 2 professional teams. Obviously, I didn't make it, and that I'm responsible for that. And I asked my dad, sign me out of school because I can't learn in the school I was going to. The school that I went to was downtown Manhattan. Back then, you couldn't learn
Yeah.
because you had all the gangs. You had the Yellow Dragons, those were the Chinese. You had the Black Panthers. You had all the Italians. I was with all the Italians. Everybody was in a group.
Yep.
And you went to school to do what? You went to school to fight. So I told my dad, Dad, you got to get me out of school. I was playing baseball. That was interfering with my career. The fights and hanging out with the different groups. Uh, so my father sent me out of school, and I went right into construction.
My dad talked about that in Brooklyn, how intense it was. Like literally the factions of people and what you had to deal with. It was like there was just seeds of so much divisiveness and hatred that was going on. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, listen, I didn't go around, like starting fights.
Right.
Uh, Most of the altercations I got into were either defending somebody because there was a lot of bullies in school, and I would defend kids that were getting bullied. I would defend them. I was like, "Yo, Chester, can you stop? He's with me. That's how we say it in New York. He's with me.
Yeah.
You know."
Yep.
And the guy would be honorary. Say, okay, Chris, I don't know. I'll leave him alone. Okay, and that's the way it was, like
Yeah.
in school or in the streets. Um, my best friend got murdered. He was 20 years old.
Wow.
I couldn't save him. He got involved into drugs, and he got involved with the wrong people. And there was no way I could have saved him. And he got murdered. So that was another thing I had to go through in my life. I had to go through his death, which was, at a young age, like life's got to be better than this, man.
Yeah.
If life is like this, who wants to be here? I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad would talk about that too. He was really defending himself, but he used to always talk about kind of the guys that would get in the wrong crowds or get into the whole mafia thing. And he always used to tell me, never piss in the river because you may have to drink out of it one day.
Exactly, exactly,
That was the
exactly,
mantra.
exactly. So,
So,
like again, like in my generation, you know, you had to be a man of your word.
yeah.
That's what they called like a stand-up guy.
Yep.
A stand-up guy is a man of his word, okay, and a man who doesn't lie. Okay, if you screwed up, if you effed up, just a minute. I
Yep.
made a mistake, man, and to tell always tell the truth. That's
Yeah.
the way it was in my generation. There's an old saying: you lie, you die.
Yeah.
And guess what? I tried to tell people around me, listen, just always tell the truth.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, always tell me the truth. Or, whoever you're dealing with, tell them the truth, man.
Yeah.
We're human. We make mistakes.
Yep.
So, and that's the way I live my life.
Sure.
I've been a leader since I'm 25 years old, probably earlier,
Yeah.
but I'm saying when I got involved into business, I was a leader since 25.
So, who's been your hero? Who's been someone that's been an inspiration for you in your life?
Uh, a company I worked for a long time. I think I worked for them 18 years. He's actually one of my best friends today, the boss of that company. He's like he's like a good mentor to me. I just talked to him last week again. We built the largest casino in the United States, which is up in Connecticut. It's called Foxwood Casino. We were, one of the contractors up there. We built airport terminals, American Airlines, TWA, US Air, and I worked for them for a long time. And he helped me big time, big time. He helped me. I didn't have the right guidance in life. I come from a broken family. My dad was out doing his thing, and my mother worked two jobs. So this guy mentored me. He knew my situation. Always used to talk to him on a personal level. And to this day, he's like my good friend. He's my mentor.
So, when did you realize you had the leadership and the coaching spirit, the soul for it? Was there a moment? Was there a time? When did you realize this was your calling?
Well, I'm not sure if you looked through any of my information, but
Yeah.
I was a baseball coach.
Yeah.
I coached baseball at an early age. I was like about, I'm going to say I was around 23 years old. There was a league that I played for, elite baseball players. It was a traveling team, and the president of the league had asked me. Actually, he didn't ask me. He told me that he had to do away with the senior division. So I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because we have no money to support it, and I don't have a coach." I said, "Bobby, are you kidding me?" He says, "No." I said, "You got to keep these kids off the street. This
Yeah.
is a summer league. This is perfect for them to." Now the league was from 17 to 20-year olds. So that's like a time in your life, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You can get involved with the wrong people, you get involved with the drugs, drinking, a lot of stuff can happen at those ages. So he says, what are we gonna do? I says, how much money do you need? So he told me. I said, okay, good. I'm gonna go to the car. I got my checkbook. I'm gonna write you a check. And I did. I wrote him a check. And he says, but what do I do for a coach? I said, you don't have anybody, Bobby? He says, nah, Chris. I could, I could appoint somebody, but they're not going to. I said, okay, good, okay. You know what? I'm going to coach the team. And that's what I did. What I
Wow.
did was I had to go out and recruit. I went to the nearest park where I used to play, basketball in the park. Like every weekend, I used to go there. I see a whole bunch of guys. They all knew me from playing basketball in the park, handball. So I gathered them all together. They were playing softball in the park. There was about maybe 14 guys. I say, hey guys, I want to talk to you. They say, okay, Chris, what's up? Anybody here play organized baseball? A couple of guys raised their hand. I played Little League when I was 12. I played, when I was 11 or 13. I said, yeah. How would you like to play organized baseball? I says, and they said, wow, that sounds good. I said, okay, good. If you're interested, show up at the field Saturday morning. I told them where to go, what field to meet me at. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, I'll be there. If you guys want to play organized baseball, I'm putting a team together, traveling team. So they showed up. I'm going to say about maybe 15, 16 guys showed up. Now remember, those are street guys.
Yeah.
So I started practicing with them. I see what kind of talent they had, how I can teach them different things, running bases, how to pitch. So I figured out a position for all of them. Some of them I had to release because they didn't qualify. So in that position that I was in, what you look for as a leader, you look to see what you're lacking. That that is the key to a true leader. You got to see what you lack.
Yeah.
So what I saw was I was lacking pitching. So I went out, Joe, and I went to these big Catholic high schools, where they play some serious baseball. And I went out and I recruited 5 pitchers. I would wait for the game. I watched their game, wait for the game to end. I pulled the guy over. Hey, how you doing? My name is Chris. He introduced himself. How would you like to play for a summer league, traveler team, elite baseball, right up your alley that you love? And then I had 5 guys agree. And I said, okay, good. Meet me at this field, where I told the street guys, and I put them all together. What happened, Joe? They started to clash. Street guys weren't getting along with these Catholic high school guys. It wasn't happening. So I said, oh shit, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So what I did was I started throwing barbecues just to get off the game of baseball. Have barbecues, let them intervene with one another. And guess what? It worked. Now I saw them teaching one another, showing each other what to do. Okay, I didn't have to step into that. And I saw that the bond coming between them. And during practice, I was their friend,
Yeah.
and they knew it. Game time, I was their coach,
Yeah.
and they respected it. So with that, we won 3 championships back to back to back. We talk about dynasty in the beginning.
Yeah.
We had a dynasty team.
That's wonderful, man. So,
Yeah.
what is the motivation for you every day to do this work, to stay healthy at your age, to continue to push, to help people, to change lives, but to also evolve as a human being? What is that collective gumption for you every day?
It's possible I could save your life.
Yeah.
I could save your life with all the different things that I studied and I learned. Um, I'm 65 years old. I'm in great shape. I got a 6 pack. I'm never going to quit that. I'm a self healer. Whatever I went on in my life, I got a hernia 15 years, self healed it, no surgery. Um, I just want to tell people that your body your body is important. The body and the mind, they talk to one another,
Yeah.
but you got to take care of the body because the body will speak to the mind. So, you know, healthy body, healthy mind. That's
Yeah.
the way it works.
Yeah.
So, I eat healthy. I do everything healthy. Um, I could be with you probably 4 hours just talking to you, just trying to help people to get on the right path in life to stay healthy because, I watched my father suffer. Guy he used to eat donuts for breakfast. He used to put eight scoops of sugar in his coffee. I watched my dad suffer. No matter how many times I talked to him, that generation didn't listen to you.
Yeah.
So, you have a choice in life. You could grow old gracefully, or you could grow old feeling sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously my choice is I want to grow old gracefully, and I want the same for you too, and the audience.
So, of everything that you've done and accomplished in your life and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
What am I the proudest of? That's a good question. That was
Yeah,
the first time anybody asked me that. I am proud that I made it. I made it through life.
yeah,
All the things that I've been through,
yeah.
I am proud to be alive. I'm grateful to be alive. And I'm proud that I made it. Um, I easily in my life I could have flipped. Like I could have probably been in prison. Probably could have been involved into drugs. Uh, you know, but I'm proud that I didn't. I'm proud that that wasn't my choice or path in life. I'm proud of that.
So, two-part question here. What's the greatest baseball game you've ever witnessed with your own eyes? And what would be a dream baseball game you would love to have seen?
I'm gonna say when the Mets played. I'm a Yankee fan, by the way, but when the Mets played the Boston Red Sox in 1986,
Oh,
that was probably the greatest game I ever seen because of everything that happened. You know, the ball going underneath Buckner's legs, just the way the Mets fought back. You got to give them kudos for that because they didn't quit. And I'm about that. Don't quit. Whatever you do in life, don't stop. Don't quit. Even if you fail, keep going, man. You're gonna get it. So that was probably the greatest baseball game I ever saw.
you were there?
No, I wasn't there physically. I
Right.
did. I watched it on
Oh, yeah,
TV,
me
but
too.
I wish I was there. But nah, I wasn't there.
That's my answer all the time. The moment that ball went underneath Billy Buckner's legs, because my dad was from up there, so I had an allegiance, but the year before the Royals won. So there was just constant
Right,
baseball love going on.
right,
But I, that whole game, so this is the weird thing, and I didn't realize this till just recently. Billy Buckner was never put in the late innings because he had knee problems. He would hobble, especially in the fall. So they always had, I can't remember the other guy that was always in, but they only put him out on the field because they wanted him to celebrate. And what
right.
happened? It's a weird thing. That's the magic of baseball.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ah,
I got to tell you, I'm fortunate to see all the elite players like Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle. I'm proud to see all those guys play baseball. Today the game is totally different. I don't really watch baseball until it's the World Series.
the one thing that's a real testament to what you've been doing and the way you live your life goes back to Mickey Mantle. You got this guy that was a god to all of these kids growing up. He did these miraculous things, but he ended up at the end succumbing to the fact that he drank so long and his liver gave out. And I remember there was an interview, and at one point he just looked in the camera and said, "Whatever you do, don't be like me." And it was
Right.
heartbreaking,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was that button on the VCR that you couldn't hit and say rewind.
yeah.
It didn't exist.
Right,
But what you're doing and what you're showing people is your body is truly the temple. I had a friend of mine years ago that said the best healthcare out there, the best healthcare plan is to take care of yourself.
yeah, yeah. Self-love. It starts with self-love and self-care.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that knows you. But what's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? Um, I, I'm a guy that's going to always tell you the truth. I'm always going to give you the right advice to better your life. Uh, I've been through so many conversations as a leader of my life. People come to me with all the issues that they face. I always gave them the best advice. If it wasn't in my area where I can help them, and I knew somebody who could, I would make an introduction and say, hey, talk to this lady or talk to this guy. They can help you. I really can't help you because it's not my expertise. I'm not a doctor. Whatever I tell people is because I experienced it. I have wisdom. I lived it. And you can't get that out of a book. And you can't what encyclopedia your book. If you didn't live it, you can't give it. You can't give that advice.
Yeah. You know, the way I got into broadcasting, one of the ways that I've got into it and I've got into interviewing stellar folks from around the world is a jazz radio show. And when I started that show in 2011, I said the only way that I'm going to present this is if I interview the musicians, not from a book, not from
Mhm.
anything else, but from their mouths. It's their story. And I think that's the most important thing out there is that the proof of the pudding. I remember my dad used to bemoan the fact that we all smoked, all of us kids, but we watched him do it his whole life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Yeah.
like all of these habits. And I remember when I had my son, he's 19 now. The one thing I made sure I did before he came onto this planet was to completely eliminate that habit,
Right.
you
Cool.
know, because
That's
that's it,
awesome.
man. The kids watch no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? The kids, they should be fortunate today because you got podcasts now. You can listen to people talk like you and I. In our generation, we didn't have this.
No.
People would say, go to a library or go buy a book or go read about it. Who's going to go and do that?
Yeah, right.
You had to self-learn yourself in
Uh-huh.
my generation, and that's why if the kids are listening, listen, guys, this is important for you people, just listen. The experience and wisdom is the best that you can ever absorb. Is the experience and wisdom that we're giving you.
It's a perfect lead in to if anyone wants to pick up your books, hire you, learn more about you, reach out, the good business, where do they go?
My website, healingwarriors.com. All the content is up there. All my information, my contact information is there. I'm going to be putting a lot more content out. I've been on over, I think 80 or 100 podcasts already and radio shows, actually around the world.
Yeah.
I was just interviewed in the UK. I was just interviewed in South Africa. So yeah, healingwarriors.com. You can reach me. You can, read up on me, see, what interests you the most. Increasing Testosterone was another book that I wrote. Hernia Without Surgery and Belonging to Yourself. Those are the three titles.
Wonderful. Chris, this has been an honor. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your story.
Okay,
And
so
but best of luck down there with this weather that's coming through. It's truly been wonderful to talk and meet you, man. I appreciate it.
okay, I appreciate you too. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Best of luck.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
Take care.
Bye
Bye
for
bye.
bye for now.